The Supreme God can forgive the punishment of sinful deeds. Till now, every saint or great man we have met told us that sinful deeds can only be cut off by suffering the punishment of karma. Who is that Lord? Who can forgive sinful deeds? Who can free us from the bondage of Kal? What is his name? What is the method of worship to unravel all these mystical secrets? Must listen the nectar words of Jagat Guru Tattvadarshi Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, based on the holy scriptures of all religions.
With the infinite grace of Supreme Father God, complete Brahma, creator of entire universe, Lord of the lineage, God Kabir, you are present today to listen to the spiritual discourse, Virtuous Souls. God Himself has come and told us the knowledge. And apart from that knowledge, all that we had heard was complete ignorance. It is said, Bhakti Mukti ke Data Satguru,
भटकत प्राण फिरंदा उस साहिब के हुक्म बिना नहीं तरवर पात हिलंदा.
the infinite grace of God has happened to you. Until this creature does not take refuge in the Supreme Lord, till then he is only bearing his destiny. Even if he tries to do auspicious deeds, then due to the wrong method it becomes useless, and he is only completing his remaining rites. When this creature comes in the shelter of the Supreme God, follows rules, chants Satnam, he duly follows the preachings received from Guruji, then all his work is done by God. So today, as you took a power connection or electricity, so accordingly you made all the changes. You took the electricity mill, the cattle feed cutting machine will also run on electricity, the hand pump will also be powered by electricity, and the flour mill will also be run on electricity. Then all your work is being done by electricity only. Similarly, when you get this connection, then all your actions change. When you get the connection of God, you get refuge, then all your work is done by the power of that God. Here it is said,
मुक्ति के दाता सतगुरु भटकत प्राणी फिरंदा उस साहिब के हुक्म बिना नहीं तरवर पात हिलंदा.
after receiving initiation, if then the creature wanders here and there, without stabilizing the mind, he goes somewhere else, goes to some saints, or goes to any other place of worship as he used to wander earlier, he goes there. For that it is said, Bhakti or Mukti ke Satguru Data, and no one else.
ये भटकत प्राण फिरंदा उस साहिब के हुक्म बिना नहीं तरवर पात हिलंदा.
And when we come under the refuge of Satguru, then all our work is done only by the order of the God. And the rest who are not in the shelter of God, they are only bearing their destiny. There cannot be any change in that. Without the order of that God, there cannot be any change in that too. Taruvarpat means even a leaf of a tree cannot move. That is, no work can be done contrary to the law of that God. He only can change his law himself. No one else has power. God tells,
मात पिता मिल जाएंगे, मात पिता मिल जाएंगे, 184 माही सतगुरु सेवा और बंदगी फेर मिलन की नाही। सत्संग की आधी घड़ी तप के वर्ष हजार, तो भी बराबर है नहीं कहें कबीर विचार।
God reminds us that by attaining human life, you try to attain God. Those virtuous souls who were also in the human body in previous births and were doing devotion, then they immediately obtain human life. And then the previous inspirations which were there in them of God, those remain present. That is his own right, where he is born, like he is born in the holy Hindu religion. Then his previous rites give him so much pressure that he cannot live without doing his devotion. So he starts practicing. If someone is born in the Muslim religion, then he starts those rituals. And it is same in other religions as well. But virtuous souls, unless we are familiar with our holy scriptures, then doing that practice will also be ineffective. The main aim of human life is to attain God. And if God is not attained, then it is like destroying our life in the same way.
सतगुरु संगत छोड़ के चाहे लाख वर्ष जप कीने, इंद्री क्रम न मोक्ष होवे फिर काल के अधीन।
Leaving the shelter of Satguru, you may continue chanting for lakh years by turning away from the Guru, and you may keep on chanting for lakhs of years. You will not get any benefit.
इंद्री कर्म न मोक्ष होवे और फिर काल के अधीन।
Virtuous souls, ever since the soul has been separated from God, after a few days it realized that something has been lost by us. And even till today it is feeling the same emptiness. The person who has a son, a daughter, a child, has a lot of wealth and has a good business, but still he is not satisfied. Still the soul is in search of something or the other. It is in search of God. It is a different matter what method has he received, in which religion is he born, but still it is searching for him. Now suppose a poor person seeks God to become rich. The childless are searching for God for their child, but the one who has all prosperity also has children, has property, has all the happiness of Kal here, and still he is in search of God. So it means whatever we have got, which we want here, is not enough. Apart from this, there is some work which is necessary. Now we will have to do that essential work. We were devoting more time to our unnecessary work earlier, just for the sake of employment for the stomach. Now we know that the main aim of human life is attainment of God. So now we will spend a lot of time to attain our God. Now it will be the same time, same business of yours, same would be the actions, your worldly actions, like everyone lives for the stomach. Some do service, some have shops, some work as a farmer, some do service, some work as labor. Your work will remain the same, but in this you will have to spend more time for God. How will it be spent? Many say we do not get time. You have a lot of time. You have a lot of time. We could not understand that time and kept on misusing it. Now, like you are traveling in a bus, you have got the mantra. Sit in the bus and start chanting the mantra. Do not do sightseeing, do not talk too much with your partner, and keep chanting mantras. So those 2 hours of your time are utilized. You have gone from home for work and reached the workplace, so chant till there many times. And even after going there, the labor or the farmer does not have mental work. In that too, he can chant and do devotion. We saw these farmers while ploughing, singing hymns or thinking some other nonsense in their mind the whole day. So we can make good use of it. We can also do devotion because you take any holy book and see or read the experience of any great person. They have done the same work that the common people of the world do, and they attain God, and in the same work they have chanted. No one did forced worship. Like they say that it is necessary to meditate for 2.5 hours in the morning and 2.5 hours in the evening. It is useless to do meditation. First of all, their knowledge is wrong. What will they meditate? The false knowledge. And what do they meditate? Ye vad veda chaturai. This is their argument. They are showing cleverness. Regarding forced worship, none of the saints and great men did forced practice. There is no proof in any scripture that you should do devotion by sitting at one place. It has been clarified in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 3, verse number 456, that Arjun, if you leave your work and start forced practice, if you become a karm sage means leaving work, one sits at one place, whether sit in the forest, whether build a cave, or is sitting at home and making useless effort, then how will you survive? Then this Kal, knowledge giver of Gita in the 5th chapter, has again interfered in it. He has said that there should be such a seat, neither it should neither be too high or low, it should be a secluded place, concentrate at the tip of the nose, and worship like this. This is his own opinion. This practice is not Veda knowledge. This is his opinion. There are 2 types of knowledge in Gita ji. One is the knowledge of Vedas, and second, he has added his own opinion in it. So if we consider the actions of this 5th chapter to be correct, then the 3rd one will be wrong, in which it has been said that if you become a karma sage by sitting in one place, then how will you survive? That's why you also fight, do mantra, also work, do devotion as well. This is knowledge of Vedas. This is the correct knowledge. In Yajurved chapter 40, mantra number 15, it has been said that
Vayu anilam ath idam basmantam sariram om kartu samar kilbe samar kartum samar.
Chant Om mantra. While working, chant with special aching, with reverence, and chant knowing it to be the main duty of your human life. Then bhasmantam shariram amritam. When your body will be discarded, when your body will finish, at that time, the benefit that you have to attain by Om Mantra will be attained only from that. Whatever immortal you can be with that, as a seeker chanting Om Mantra goes to Brahmalok because it is the practice of Brahma. And even after going to Brahmalok, he comes back. So the amount of time he will have with the earning of the devotion of Om, that time in great heaven in Brahmalok, there he has built fake Satlok, Alaklok, Agamlok, Anamilok. So there, this creature is saved from this birth and death till that time. But still there is birth and death. So the point is that in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 8, verse number 13, this knowledge giver of Gita is telling the knowledge of Vedas that Om iti ekaksharam Brahm Vyaharan Mam Anusamran Ye Prayati Tajam Deham Sayati Paramam Gatim. Me Brahm has only one Om mantra, and there is only one Om word, nothing else. One who leaves the body while chanting it attains my ultimate attainment obtained from this Om. In chapter 7, verse 18, it has been said that Arjun, this knowledgeable soul is although generous, but due to not getting enlightened saint, they are dependent only on my inferior attainment. Because by chanting Om Mantra, Brahmalok is attained, and this is the ultimate attainment of Brahm's practice, attainment of Brahmalok, and the living beings who have gone there again come in birth and death. The knowledge giver of Gita in 5th verse of 4th chapter and in 9th verse. In the 12th verse of the 2nd chapter and the 2nd verse of the 10th chapter, the knowledge giver of Gita in Gita says, Arjun, you and I have had many births. You do not know, I know. With this, it is proved that Brahm's worshippers who chant Om Mantra also have birth and death. Also birth and death remains forever of their God. So as long as there is birth and death, the soul cannot be happy. Now we come to the same topic that it has been said in Gita Ji chapter 8 verse number 5 and 7 that if you want to stay in my shelter, then do my devotion. Also fight and do my chanting. Now, nothing can be harder than war. And at that time also there is an instruction to remember God. This is the way to attain that supreme God. In verses 8, 9 and 10 of the 8th chapter, it is said in Gita Ji that if you will do devotion of that God, then you will attain Him. His mantra has been told in the 23rd verse of 17th chapter. Om Tat Sat iti nirdesha brahmanah trividah smritah. Virtuous souls, in this way, we should worship, making our holy texts the basis. There is no benefit by blindly following anything. Somewhere someone is blindly doing something, someone else is doing something, some are doing penance, some are keeping a fast. So is there any evidence that anyone has attained someone through these practices? So in this way, God has told in that Suksham Ved,
नाम उठत नाम बैठत नाम सोवत जागवे नाम उठत नाम बैठत नाम सोवत जागवे नाम खाते नाम पीते नाम सेती लागवे.
that is, mantras have to be chanted while walking, getting up and sitting, even while eating food. You can chant mantras. Like the farmer has a lot of time, he is going to the fields, roaming around, he should go chanting mantra, he brings fodder for the animals, then he should go and come. While chanting mantra, that means more time will have to be spent in chanting mantra. Others, like there are shopkeepers, a shopkeeper is sitting at his shop. The customer came, he dealt with him. After that, as soon as he got free, he should start chanting mantra. But it is the habit of the mind. Kal has inspired such a thing in us that apart from doing devotion, do anything else. No matter how much it thinks, this mind does not get tired. Once upon a time, a person was told by his guru that you should get the chanting done. Get so many chants done. He gave some mantra, some verse. So for that he did not find any Brahman. He asked his guru that Brahman is not found. Can I get it done from someone else? Yes, get it done by anyone. Get so many mantras done. He went there at Labor Chowk and told two people at Labor Chowk that brothers, so and so is the work. What daily wage do you take here for a day? They told him that we take rupees 15 and what work do you do? We carry mud the whole day. We put soil on the streets or on someone's house. So the person said that I will give you rupees 30 and I'll give you good food and will give you nice clothes. Will you work for me? Okay, tell us what is the work. There you have to chant a mantra. They both said, okay, we will do it. Others also started saying that we will also come, we will also come. He said that only 2 were needed. These 2 have agreed. He brought both of them. He told them that you take a bath first. They took a bath. And he fed them with good food, made them wear clean clothes. Like earlier dhoti used to be worn, he gave them a nice sheet and said, take this rosary and keep chanting these mantras. You do your duty for 8 hours, here, and I will give you 30 rupees there. You used to take 15 rupees. They said, okay, wonderful. We are pleased and said, for how many days will you get it done? I will have to be done for 3 to 4 days. Fine, do not call anyone else. No, brother, it is fine. Why do I need others? You have to do so much daily. You will do it. Yes, we will. He made them sit by giving a rosary in the hand. They did it for half an hour. Then did it for 5 minutes more. Then they said, thought, damn it, when will it be 8 hours? They both said, brother, hold your rosary and your dhoti. We cannot do it for 8 hours. Who would sit tied in this? Leaving all those belongings and wearing their same clothes, they came and stood at Labor Chowk. They carried mud the whole day for 15 rupees. Sitting there, happily they could not chant the mantra. This mind has such a dirty habit. How hard do you work for stomach? Even the animals get tired. We have seen because the servant is born in a farmer's family. From morning till evening, a farmer plows. There is no fixed work time. He goes at 6 in the morning and leaves the bull at 6 in the evening, and many have such a system that they used to cut the fodder and bring it on the head. He used to leave the bulls, they used to graze fodder, and he used to cut their fodder by hand and then used to put all the fodder for them. Then he does the household work. A human works even more than an animal for a stomach. And for God, He does not allow it to take out even 10 minutes. This mind is such an enemy of this soul. So virtuous souls, you have to understand this trap. And devotion will be done according to devotion as God has told. It has not been done according to our wish. Now as innocent souls go to get covered, they walk from there to there on foot. Sometimes they come on foot and the feet get blisters. By tying bandages, they keep walking. And if you tell them to chant one rosary of mantra, then they would leave and go. That's such a large mantra. How to do 108 mantras? They start trying in the very beginning. This mind is like this. He agrees to do the opposite work and does not get any interest in doing good work. So with this devotion and with knowledge, with God's control, this mind will allow you to do devotion. Otherwise, this mind will not allow you to do devotion and do whatever else. Perform penance the whole day. They stand for many years because there is cooperation of the mind. And the mind is this Kal. He wants that this creature, instead of worshipping God, continue to do whatever else. Then they are under my feet. They walk on their stomach and go to those places of worship. Lying on stomach, he puts a mark like this. Then he reaches there and gets up and again puts a mark. That is how much such action should be done. No problem. No objection. And one rosary of 108 mantras, he makes objection 6 times. He does not let one rosary complete in the meantime. Do not know till where he will think, let's go there. And that was the work. It was that. So do it later, leave it. Then what was it? Do not know where some other problem might come. So the point is that the action is very easy. But we have got so much colored in those other practices. Now we have to leave that color completely. That practice which you used to do earlier in any way has not to be done. Now you have to do as you are told. Like many devotees who come from the Radha Swami cult. Say that it has become our practice sitting for 2.5 hours in the morning, 2.5 in the evening. So till we do not sit, we do not get satisfied, so you don't have to do this. Because otherwise it is fine, you are sitting, you have got time, do devotion, there is no problem, sit down and chant mantra, but forced meditation is not to be done. This meditation is forced practice, and do as we will tell you the method of meditation. Now when you have the desire for God, your concentration will automatically be fixed. How will it happen? God says,
चिंता तो सत्य नाम की और न चिंता दासी, जय कोई चिंता नाम बिना वाहे काल की फांसी.
like it is said, one gets tension, and in that tension the needle of his mind goes there frequently. It goes here and there for a while and goes back immediately. So it is said, you have got this tension, similar tension you create of God's name. Now if someone has had any tension, whose tension has intense consequence, knows this very well, that even if he talks to anyone for 2 minutes, 10 minutes, immediately after that his needle of his mind reaches to the same tension. So in this way we have to attach our attention with God's mantras. This tension has to be created. And this is meditation. Do this tension while sitting or while lying. This meditation, and do it while walking. So the point is that intelligent society can easily understand how this devotion can be done and how we can utilize this time properly. If someone is worried, ask him how much time he spends in that tension. The mind does not want to talk to anyone in worldly work. At the same time, concentration reaches there due to tension. So in this way, this is our easy meditation, the easy meditation of saints. So in this way, we have to meditate using these mantras. This is called Surat Shabad practice by some cults. And how do they say that our gurus sat in a closed room for 18 years and practiced their Surat Shabad inside the room? They don't know what Surat and Shabad are, and what did they practice? They wasted time, performed forced worship. Forced worship is not Surat Shabad practice. It is not forced practice. That is practice like we are chanting some mantra. You have been given mantra. That mantra is a word, and keeping concentration over it, being connected, not to go away even for 1 second from it. This is Surat Shabad practice. That is, keep concentration over that mantra. God Kabir Ji says that
जीव्या तो मुख में फेरे और माला फेरे कर्मा ही, मनवा तो 34 फेरे ये तो सिमरण नाही.
there you are chanting and the mind is roaming around. This is not chanting. What are you saying? Which mantra are you reciting, whether you are doing it in your mind or you are doing it with your breath? What are you chanting even with your breath? Your concentration should be over it. Which mantra are you reciting and which one are you releasing? Which one are you taking in? And this has to be practiced, is known as Surat Shabad practice. Surat Shabad practice. This closing of ears and eyes is not Surat Shabad. They say sound will be heard whether you hear it or not. It is sounding inside. Whatever it is happening now due to past rights, this sound is playing inside you, and the same virtuous souls are trying for God who are past cultured. Others don't even talk. They drink and enjoy whatever work they continue doing. So that already exists inside you. Whatever these unknown guru used to make you hear, listen to the sound, listen to the sound. Now as 1 lakh rupees have been deposited in your bank, in your account, in your copy, whether you may look at that 1 lakh rupees daily in book, in bank's copy, or you see the whole day those 1 lakh of yours are deposited. And if you will not do any business in future, you will not do any work, then it will decrease out of 1 lakh, will not increase. This is meditation. In this meditation, you want to see something like God had given freedom to Kal in Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, because in those days, highly virtuous creatures were born in those eras, and those were earlier virtuous cultured seekers. Everyone, whether one is poor or rich, whether one is born in any caste, they all used to do devotion in those eras, and their concentration gets fixed, focus happens in 1 second. And what is meditation? What is their meditation? Like there are lotuses made in our body. Inside our backbone, there are lotuses built. That means lotus chakras are made just like there are channels in a television. And whatever channel is turned on, the program that appears in that channel is present at some other place, and by relaying from there, it is only showing that this work is being done there in this channel. So in the same way, the channels are inside our body, Mool Kamal, then the taste chakra is 2 fingers above it, then the navel chakra, which is also called navel lotus, then the heart chakra, the heart lotus, and then the throat chakra, Kant Kamal, then the Trikuti lotus, then the Sahasra lotus. So in this way, these channels have been made in our body. Lotus is there. And those who are seekers, virtuous souls, make effort in search of God. So, in the earlier eras, every person's meditation used to get fixed. Meditation used to happen. Who wanted to try? Then he used to think, then what happens inside him? Some of his lotus used to open. Due to past virtues, by past rights, it opens with practice. So what happens in that channel as the film starts? A movie will start on that channel from where the program is coming. It all starts showing up. Somebody is dancing, somebody is singing, somewhere the king's ride is coming. As the movie runs somewhere, there are springs flowing, somewhere fruit trees are visible, somewhere there are flowers, there are very long broad hills, there is a garden. So he keeps watching everything. Somewhere songs are happening, somewhere celestial girls are dancing. So the seekers who used to meditate, this mind would not let them stay like this, would not let them sit for even 10 minutes. And they used to sit for many hours, many years. Now this mind starts seeing more attractive things inside than the outside. So he keeps wasting time there. He keeps watching the movie on that channel. He does not do chanting by sitting. Forced worship is done. With this, it has become austerity. Through penance, one attains the kingdom.
तप से राज मदमानम और जन्म तीसरे फिर शुक्र सवानम.
Sitting for 2.5 hours in the morning, what will they find God? This is just to make a fool. This is the way of frauds. So these sages used to do such practice in Satyug, Treta, Dwapar. Everyone used to do. Like if you have read Mahabharata, so after the war, even Sri Krishna used to meditate, used to chant. Arjun also used to sit and meditate and chant. But their remembrance at that time was for the war as to what must be done tomorrow. Maybe they used to sit down, but their discussions were on whatever was their internal problem. The point is that from their past history, we know that every living being has been trying to do devotion, and at that time, their meditation also used to happen, due to which they kept on considering their action as final and correct. In Gita chapter number 4, verse number 25 to 30, it has been clarified that Arjun, some worship God, some do meditation, some do self-study, and some keep a fast of non-violence, and someone worships, and someone does only yoga, and everyone thinks that their practice to be the destroyer of sins. Then in Gita Ji chapter 4 verse 32, it has been said that Arjun, The detailed information about such religious rituals has been said in the speech of Sachidanand Ghan Brahma with correct details. God coming himself has said that from his lotus mouth that is the correct practice and that is true spiritual knowledge. In verse 34 of 4th chapter, it is said that then you go to the enlightened saint and understand that true spiritual knowledge by bowing down to him, by giving up all hypocrisy, by praying to him. That enlightened saint will make you know about the element of true spiritual knowledge. Ask him. So from this one, it has been proved that Gita Ji is not complete knowledge. There is no complete spiritual knowledge in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It is incomplete, but can't say it is wrong. Yes, it is wrong that this Kal has provoked Arjun for war. Just now, you were told that in the 5th chapter he says that make such postures, sit like this and meditate on tip of the nose. This is his opinion. He himself says that it is my opinion. And the rest is the Vedas knowledge. Now as he asked Arjun for war in verses 37 and 38 of the 2nd chapter, that Arjun, leaving profit and loss and not even worrying about any victory and defeat, you fight. Now first understand that without profit and loss, who will bother himself? And then immediately he says that if you win in the war, then you will get the rule of the whole earth, will enjoy kingdom, and if you die in battle, you will go to heaven. You have sweets in both your hands, you fight. What is his theory? At first he is saying that leaving profit and loss, you fight. Do not even worry about winning or losing. And immediately he is telling the profit and loss that if you are killed, you will go to heaven. And if you will win, then you will enjoy the rule of earth. Weird. He himself is telling about profit and loss, and then he's saying don't think about profit or loss. So this is his manipulation, that this Kal has done such nonsense to get the war done, that somehow it should be destroyed. Then he got it done.
सतगुरु संगत छोड़ के लाख वर्ष जप कीने, इंद्री कर्म ना मोक्ष होए फिर काल के अधीन.
There was a girl named Rabia. She was born in Muslim religion. She was a virtuous soul. Her past rites were good. God says,
जो जन मेरी शरण है ताका हूँ मैं दासे, गेल गेल लाग्या फिरूं जब तक धरती आकाशे.
virtuous souls, you are not an ordinary soul. You have been at the shelter of God Kabir at some time or the other, like 600 years ago, from 1398 to 1518, God lived here on earth for 120 years as a Satguru, remaining in the form of Satguru, and he himself was God. From here itself, the remote of the whole universe was in his hands. So at that time, there were 64 lakh disciples of that God, virtuous souls. How merciful he is, you cannot imagine, because our intellect is bound by Kal. And to us, only the worldly false pleasures seem to be most important till now, when there was no knowledge. Now that merciful came 600 years ago. He came to recharge these souls once. Then they will continue to receive human births till the middle generation comes. These things are at the beginning of Kali Yuga in the year 1398, Samvat 1455. On Jesht Sudhi full moon day, God came walking from Satlok, from his native place, from the Dhulok, from radiant place Satlok. And on a lotus flower in the city of Kashi in Banaras. In a forest outside the city, he appeared on the lotus flower blooming in the Lehartara lake. That was the first phase of Kali Yuga. Now this is middle generation, this is the middle time of Kali Yuga. And about the last of Kali Yuga, it has been told that all the living beings will become faithless. No one will believe in religion and karma, will be drunkard, non-vegetarian, age will be reduced, age of human will remain 20 years and end of the Kali Yuga at last of Kali Yuga. And 5 out of that will be rare. Everyone will die at the age of 15. They will become young and will also get married, and children will also be born and they will also die. And at that time, as soon as a girl turns 5, she is married. Children will be born of a girl of 5 years. At the end of Kali Yuga, and the creatures will live by digging holes. So that is the end of Kali Yuga. And now, this is the middle. That was the first phase of God when Almighty came, and now is the middle generation. So to bring you to this middle generation of humans, the faith for God should remain in them even if they are worshipping idols, or whether they worship some Krishnji, and whether they are happy in worshipping their Baba Shamji. But those were the past rites. And we were thinking that we are getting happiness by worshipping these deities because we did not know. Like this servant was a special worshipper of Lord Sri Krishna.
Consider Lord Vishnu, worshipper of Krishna, Sri Ram, Lord Shankar, Hanumanji.
That is, was worshipping everyone like earlier combined practice used to be done. Baba Shamji was our ancestral god, that is, clan's god. Even he was worshipped, and these were the past rites. Now our eyes have opened, and at that time, like we used to pass in school, in education, we used to think that Lord Krishna showed mercy. Then Baba Shamji was remembered. Baba Shamji showed mercy. Hail Bajrang Bali, he got us a pass. Then I got married and got a job and had a child. So I used to think that these gods have blessed, and used to worship then, had faith. More and more faith kept on building up because happiness started happening. These were happening due to past rites, only our destiny was flourishing. And I was thinking that they have blessed. So all this happened earlier. So God came 600 years ago, and he used to stand anywhere like some showman shows play. And he used to stand at the crossroads or in the middle of the street in the village, and there he used to start singing. He used to speak his hymns.
मानुष जन्म दुर्लभ है ये मिले न बारंबार तरवर से पत्ता टूट गिरे बहुर न लगता डार.
God would stand anywhere and speak in such a loud voice. The people around used to gather. There used to be a lot of groups. And the voice of God was even louder than the loudspeaker. Wherever one is sitting, he's listening there itself and he's speaking comfortably. That was God's spectacle. What is a loudspeaker in front of God? So like this, hundreds of devotees used to gather there. Then they used to pray, "Oh devotee, stay here today in our village." Well, brother, I'll stay. He had gone for this purpose only. Then the next day, God used to narrate again in the evening. They used to work during the day, and I will do it again in the evening. Come all brothers, like this, there were lakhs of disciples of God. God used to appear in a million places in one day. Like today, there are TVs. One person speaks and he can give all his knowledge to crores through TV. Even these were not there at that time. If these would have been there, then who would have allowed Kabir Sahib to speak? Like it is happening with this servant. Now, wherever our knowledge runs, these fake saints stop it at the same time. Stop it, stop it. He lies, he condemns. So God adopted another way. At that time, there was no need for channels. So in this way, they got happiness as soon as they took the mantra. God used to give only the first mantra at that time. The middle ones, only these 5 names which are given to you in the first mantra. These were those 5 mantras. 5 mantras which Radha Swamis give, those are not the 5 mantras. All those 5 are of Kal. And here you will benefit from these, and we will go from here as channels are made in our body. These chiefs are sitting in them. They are their lords. By clearing their account, we can go ahead on Trikuti. So at that time, we did not have a knowledge base. God gave a lot of happiness because God is the ocean of happiness. As soon as they came under his shelter, someone had a ghost problem, some god was angry, or there was some physical pain, there were worldly obstacles, some karma was not getting right, everything went on well. And God did such miracles in their homes. They were poor people, they used to sleep with 10 rupees in the evening, the next 100 were found at their house. And they used to come and tell that today, by the grace of Guruji, such a benefit happened. Somebody says that, no, you must have forgotten by keeping it. You are forgetting, does it ever happen? Only he knows with whom it happens at that time. Where was the time to forget after keeping? So even now, such spectacles are happening. One devotee was telling me that I was trying for a year and a half that I should read the book and go and take initiation, but there was lack of money. So he was saying that while thinking this, I became very sad that such nectar knowledge of God and I'm not able to reach. He started crying. One day he said that 100 to 200 rupees were lying in the bank. I went to get them and found 6,000 rupees in the bank. 6,000 rupees were found deposited in my account. He took and cried a lot. Oh God, even this mercy has been done. He caught the train the next day. That child used to live far away. So God will do lakhs of such spectacles here for you. But if you tell others, then he will say that you lied. Because this has not happened to him. Why didn't it happen? Because they didn't get the power connection. The work of power is different from the work that is done manually. So here it is the work of power. It is the work of God. A common man cannot accept these things. So in this way, God had those 64 lakh disciples. He gave this mantra to everyone. Then because we didn't understand knowledge, anyone used to mislead us. God used to grant mantra to both Hindus and Muslims and used to say,
हिंदू मुस्लिम दो निभाई, दो कहे सो नरक में जाई.
you are the children of one father. This Kal has made you enemies among yourself, made you different. There were intelligent people who used to agree as well, and happiness occurred to them by doing devotion with mantra. So no matter in whichever religion they were living, but they continued doing devotion of God from inside. But after some time, what happens with this creature? That he gets a lot of happiness because this God is the giver of happiness. He is a merciful God. With his little kindness, so much happiness happens. The creature gets confused. Then what happened after? A few days, gradually, they got away from God. Someone would say that, no brother, God is God. Kabir is not God. He is not Allah. He tells lies. Well, you might have got some happiness, some small one. He must be some saint. So in this way, because of not having knowledge, the people of their religion again distanced us from God. But the purpose of God was fulfilled. We are wandering by not identifying God. Otherwise, attaining salvation is very easy. Nothing is easier than this. And no work is easier than this. Just like sisters, daughters, mothers used to cook food, bread, and how many arrangements they do. Now it can't even be counted. So many items must be collected. Tray, then pan, stove, wood, oil, and then bowl, spoon, then salt, chili, after collecting many items, and then making the dough, then cutting vegetables, cook, be it such heat, whether it is winter or it rains. Now some have gas stoves, otherwise earlier they used to burn wood. Even now they burn. 90% of the people cook food on wood. So it becomes wet during the rainy days. It does not burn. The eyes become red by blowing and still we cook. And in God's mantra, not even tongue has to be moved and we can't even do that much. Look how unfortunate it is. Even the tongue also has not to be moved. God gave recitation without tongues used. You anyways take breath. Do it while lying, while sitting, you walk and do that mantra. And this is the first mantra, chant it mentally. Don't do it verbally. If you are sitting separately alone, then do it verbally. Otherwise, do it mentally. So in this way, nothing has to be lifted and brought in it, nor any arrangement has to be done. If even this can't be done, then none is worthless like us. Then how are we devotees? So the point is that it is easy to attain salvation. Now we come to the same topic. In this way, God has charged us. And left after charging. Almighty had come in body and went in body. So we could not recognize God. That's why we turned away from Him. God had performed one spectacle. Now God had many disciples and used to do spiritual discourse. Devotees used to come there. Daughters and sisters also used to come. So when we become happy, then we start finding fault even in our God. This is the habit of the mind. This mind wants that somehow I should move him away from God. There was a prostitute, Ganika. That daughter, sister, listened spiritual discourse at night. God did mercy. She sat in the window in her house. It was night. Spiritual discourse was going on at a distance. And the silent period of the night had absolutely calm weather and atmosphere. The sound goes far. And if God wants someone to listen, he can do it for him sitting away at home. So that daughter listened to spiritual discourse the whole night, that human birth has been obtained to attain God, and by not worshipping for innumerable births we become dogs, for innumerable births we became donkey. All those details were narrated by God in that discourse. So there was immediate inspiration to that daughter. Virtuous soul, spiritual discourse is such a thing. It is such an element that it shakes the soul even if he is a butcher. So that sister became sleepless, that you have done wrong, you will get handicap and there will be bad condition and no good work has been done. Oh God, what will happen now? The whole night she kept wandering here and there in restlessness. When discourse got over, then next day God again showed mercy at the same place nearby. After a day or two, spiritual discourses happened around her. Now that girl reached there. She said to God that, "O Guruvar, can welfare also happen to a sinner like me?" God asked her, "Daughter, what is the matter? I do not see any innocent person here. Everyone keeps on committing one or the other sin, and solution is done for that only in the discourse." The girl said, "God, I am a very useless woman. I am a Ganika, a prostitute. Can welfare also happen for a bad person like me?" God said, "Daughter, how dirty the cloth may be, the way to clean it is soap and water." That is what spiritual discourse does. But daughter, whatever has been done in past, but don't do it in the future. The daughter held her ears and said, "God, after today I will not do anything. I will beg and eat food." Then God said, "Daughter, fine, whatever was your right, but now we will change the right. Do devotion." Now that girl took the mantra. Virtuous souls who suffer know it. She thought that you have died and you are completely ruined. The age is also nearly 40-45 years, and this Kal entraps virtuous souls very badly. So she felt passionate. The previous rites of that daughter were strong. Wherever there used to be discourse, girl used to reach there and used to sit near and look at God's face, listen to discourse and think deeply. Now, what happens among people, like some other outsiders started saying that, "Hey, prostitute has also started going to your Guruji. She was a famous prostitute there of Kashi city." So some even made their sisters, daughters, sons stop going there, and some who used to go, they started threatening that girl. "You should not come here. You have insulted Guruji." It is being discussed all over the city. Now, how will she stop? The poor found the way with difficulty, and if she gets away from there, she calculated that you will be destroyed. You have no place even in hell. So the next day she started crying in front of God, "Lord, though your daughter is a sinner, but God, you have assured that even sinners can be liberated. I am in your feet in this hope, and I am being stopped to come here." God said, "What is the matter? Tell me the whole thing." Some devotees, some mothers say like this, that "You are sinner, don't come here, you have insulted Guruji." Then God said, "Daughter, you surely come here. And if someone forbids you, tell me." The God warned them through discourse.
भाई कोष्टी होवे संत बंदगी कीजिए, हो वैश्या के विश्वास चरण चित दीजियो।
If any devotee has leprosy, even if he has cancer, even if his saliva is flowing, and if he is doing devotion, has taken mantra, then he should not be hated.
Call him to Sat Sahib. Speak with love.
This can happen to anyone. This disease can happen to you as well if you will do nuisance. But now he is doing devotion, so he has become a devotee. So with this, he will also get relief. And like it is said,
हो वैश्या के विश्वास चरण चित दीजिए।
if some sister, daughter by mistake is caught in any misdeed and she also does devotion with true passion, so it is said, give respect to her as well. Should not talk nonsense. So like this, many such evidence were given that a person does not see his own demerits and finds fault in others. And it is a special thing that thieves think others as thieves. And for sinners, everyone seems a sinner. Like a thief came and stopped at the house of a virtuous person, a passerby became a guest. Now that noble person considered him to be a noble guest because he himself was noble. He didn't consider him a thief. It was winter, he fed food, gave good clothes and made him sleep in his house where he himself was sleeping. Now, the owner slept with ease. The thief got up and took away his money and left at night. Now that thief was a thief, but to that noble person he did not seem to be a thief. Then a virtuous person stopped at that thief's house, a passerby. Now he stopped him. He stopped. Now that virtuous person slept in the evening at his house and he kept awake the whole night, that he might not steal in the night. He might not steal in the night. Like this he remained awake, because that fault was present in him himself. It was not in that noble person, in the guest.
आप सुन रहे थे जगत गुरु तत्वदर्शी संत रामपाल जी महाराज जी के मंगल प्रवचन। अधिक जानकारी के लिए विजिट कीजिए हमारी वेबसाइट www.jagatgururampalji.org। संत रामपाल जी महाराज जी के शुभ आशीर्वाद से पूरे विश्व भर में 500 से भी ज्यादा नाम दीक्षा केंद्र हैं, जिन पर संत रामपाल जी महाराज जी द्वारा ऑनलाइन निशुल्क नाम दीक्षा दी जा रही है। अपने नजदीकी नाम दीक्षा केंद्र का पता करने के लिए संपर्क करें 8222880541।